Alright, I want to make this video. I'll go to say it. This is the first video, hopefully of many. This is not going to be a full-length video of how to replace the U joint, because I already have it done. I should have done the whole video, but there are other great videos online from Eric the Car Guy, Scotty Kilmer, and A1 Auto. They all make a pretty good video. So this is just kind of a little informational video, maybe for people to watch if they have more questions, because they don't all go over exactly each kind of issue or each kind of drive shaft that there is. Some drive shafts have snap rings on them that holds the U joint on there. If I can get a video of it, it's kind of hard to see, but right in between the yoke, which is this part right here, the yoke comes around and that goes into the transfer case. The transfer case, it's right in there. That's with the new one. But the old ones, the stock ones that come with a lot of General Motors vehicles, they don't have the snap rings in there when they come from the factory. They have a little plastic retainer that goes around the inside of the cap on the U joint, and there's a little plastic ring in there that sticks out of the end, out of these holes here, and this one, and they're all on that one too. On each side you'll be able to see that. A lot of the times they're covered up by thick rust or corrosion. A lot of them I could see on here, but there were two of them that I couldn't. But right when I started to heat it up, they start kind of coming out like just like a worm kind of coming out of its hole. It's actually pretty cool to watch. I didn't do this side just because this side's in pretty good shape. This is the side that connects to the front differential, and as you can see here, that's that little plastic thing that I was talking about. If I can rotate this over, that one's a little bit harder to see, but it's still in there. You can see those two pretty clearly on that. In order to get these out, you are going to need a torch. There's no drilling them out, because it goes in there and it goes all the way around inside this piece and it comes out the other end. I'm not sure, maybe they stuck some sort of thing through here and then filled it up or something, but I'm not exactly sure. I did have quite a few issues with this, but you know, we got her done. Some people think they can use MAP gas. It really does not get hot enough. I was doing this for a couple minutes and it really didn't work. It wasn't even getting it red. That's reinforced metal, so that's not going to get it hot enough. So I suggest to not attempt doing this if you have this particular drive shaft. If you have it with snap rings, that would be a little bit of a different story, but also heating it up will expand the metal quite a bit and make it a lot easier to get out. So what I did have to use was my oxyacetylene torch, which basically just did the job pretty perfect. So there's that one little informational thing that I came across that I didn't really find on the internet anywhere else. But other than that, it went pretty smoothly. It's not a horrible job. I'd probably rate it, I don't know, 4 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. But other than that, working here in Minnesota when it's negative 16 degrees like this, it's going to take you a little bit longer. But other than that, I think that's all I really got going today. I hope to have more videos in the future, and I hope you maybe are looking to do this yourself, or maybe if you don't have the torch, with these GM drive shafts. It's a bit of an issue. But once these are replaced, oh, and another thing I did want to say was a lot of people run across the issue with, hold on, go in here for a second. A lot of people come across the issue with, why is my drive shaft failing? A lot of the times you'll hear a clunking noise at speed, or you'll hear vibrations, or you'll feel vibrations actually. But really, I only had a little bit of a tick kind of with my drive shaft, and it would only happen after about 15 miles an hour when the centrifugal force got enough that it wasn't going to be straight anymore. It was going to have to be utilizing the U joint. If you take apart your U joint and it does anything other than move freely, it's kind of hard for me to hold it while the drive shaft, but if it does anything but, you know, move freely, and you really shouldn't have any issues, you know, moving it up and down, it should be relatively easy. If it doesn't rotate this whole length, you know, you're gonna have an issue. I see a lot of people online that their drive shafts are about to fucking fall apart, and that's when you let them go for a long time. Generally, they can snap, but that's not a very common occurrence. The issue I had with my drive shaft was that the needle bearings just on one of the caps went bad. That could happen from lack of lubrication, and also it was a failure from GM coming out of the factory, that they didn't put a grease fitting on their stock drive shaft U joints, which is, don't even get me started on that. If you have something that's moving, like a wheel bearing or anything, you should be able to grease it. But they sealed them up, so you're going to have to replace the parts. But they do, thankfully. I got my I get my parts mostly from O'Reilly's. Not a bad place to shop. You just got to make sure the person you're dealing with knows what they're talking about as well. I got a precision drive shaft, precision U-link, U joint, and I made sure that the one that I bought was greasable. It's got a grease fitting on there. Got a little bit too much. I'll have to wipe that off. But yeah, make sure you don't overfill your U joint after you replace it. You should only be able to see, you know, just barely of that stuff kind of starting to peek out, and that'll go through there and it'll hit all these caps. But the issue I had with mine was it would go this way, but it wouldn't go very far this way. And when the drive shaft was trying to move, it would go tink, tink, tink. Every time it would come around, it would hit that. So that's just another thing to watch out for. Your drive shaft might not look like it's falling apart, but if it's stiff, I mean, this is kind of stiff. I mean, it'll move this whole drive shaft as I do it up and down. But this is the front drive shaft as well. So it's quite a bit shorter than the rear drive shaft. But the problem I had with mine was there's these needle bearings inside of there. They just got dry, and there's quite a bit of dust in there. They probably just kind of started to turn to dust and that sort of stuff, so they just got locked up in there. And this is what would get greased. I just got the truck a couple months ago, and I went under there to try to grease the U joints, and there wasn't a spot for it. So I figured, hey, I'll just wait. I wasn't having an issue with it at that point, but I did start having an issue with it, and unfortunately I wasn't able to just get her greased up. So I did have to replace it, and I replaced it with a better part. I'm not going to replace the front one just because once I got it off the car, it looks like it's in really good shape. And I'm not really in the mood to do any more. It's pretty cold out here, and I did pick up 2 of them. so I could do the front one as well. I'm going to check to see if this one is the same as the ones in the back. This is a 1999 Chevy Silverado 1500 4x. The Precision U Joint, at least for this one, is let's see what we got here. Oh, this is wrong actually. It's gonna be this one, 534G. And so that's that. That is the same one for the front drive shaft at the transfer case and at the front differential. I'm going to do some research to see if this isn't the same one for the back ones. My back ones are good, but I like to probably just hang on to that, so maybe if it does go out or at some point, I'm not making another trip back to the auto parts store just for a $20 part. But other than that, if you have any questions for me, feel free to post them in the comments. Other than that, I think we're going to wrap it up, and I hope to maybe be making some more videos here and get some more information out. I'll probably be only making videos for things that I don't see very well explained online. If you do have any other questions, I'll try to answer them. If there's a lot of them, I'll just make a video for it. It's a lot easier. But I hope this gives you a little bit of information on whether you would try to replace your own U joints with the tools you have at home. I did put some of my tools away already, but these are some of the ones that I used. I got a long pry bar. It doubles as a flathead screwdriver, small flathead, needle nose. That is an 11mm socket, hammer. This socket is just for that skid plate that I had to take off. Couple ratchets, and those are the bolts. So you don't need a whole lot of tools. But you are going to need a torch, an oxyacetylene torch, if you are going to try to replace the stock U joint on most General Motor vehicles. If they have those plastic little fittings sticking out of the end there, you will need a torch. MAP gas, propane, it's not going to get hot enough. But other than that, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.